Always know your why. 98-year-old Betty White, happy birthday to her, gives her keys for a long life. And what show do you want to live in?
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit Hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Good morning. It is Friday. It's January 17th, 2020, day 126 of Gotta Get On Ellen. 15 days down, 14 days to go on my 30-day challenge. That's right. No carbs, no sweets, no alcohol for 30 days. Only 14 more days to go. I had a book club gathering last night, and I was able to forge through without being tempted. My friend Monica had driven together with, and she had said to me, "How are you not eating the food?" I said, "I didn't even look at it. I didn't even go over to it. Why would I torture myself in that way?" I did see some vegetables, but I had already had my snack by the time I went to book club. That's why I figured I'm done for the day. I can't eat anything else. Took a diet soda with me. I was good to go. So I can do it. It can be done. You can go to social gatherings without filling up on food and having adult beverages. It's possible. I didn't think it was, but it really is. So 14 days to go. I'm very excited. Moving along with my 30-day challenge. And the weekends are always a little bit of a challenge, but we don't have any plans, so that's always a big plus. Joe has joined me on my 30-day challenge of no carbs and no alcohol. However, I do believe that he has not joined me on the no sweets portion because I was making a cup of coffee this morning and I was putting the grinds in the trash can. And what do I see? A Reese's peanut butter cup package. That's right. I saw it, Joe. He's like, he'll tell me straight up, I didn't agree to no sweets. He's trying to lose weight too. I guess part of his diet is Reese's peanut butter cups. Good on him. I can't include that, unfortunately. 14 more days, though. I can have all the peanut butter cups I want, for a day or two. Then you got to get back into reality, It's what we have learned about diet and nutrition through the years is you can't just lose weight and then go back to your old ways. It doesn't work that way. You have to keep it up. So, Betty White, a big old happy birthday to Betty White, 98 years old. Oh, my goodness. I had seen a rumor on Facebook a while back, and I remember I had even told Joe, Betty White died. And it was interesting because I shared this post. It was from one of the local news stations. I had shared the post on the group page, and I was reading through some of the comments on the news site, and somebody was like, "Oh, my heart. Every time I see a news headline with Betty White, I think she's died. You're killing me." So that was, gave me a little chuckle. But yeah, Betty White still going strong, 98 years old. She is giving her keys to a long life, and I am going to share them with you. Now, since I am Facebook Living this morning, I am down a device. So I'm having to do everything on my iPad, so it may take a little bit longer than usual, and my pen is getting caught in my wires. Okay, here we go. America's Golden Girl, Betty White, celebrating 98 today, a long and bountiful life. Her secret to longevity, well, she says it's her love of pets, hot dogs, and vodka, she once joked. With more than 75 years in show business, though, the comedic staple made generations laugh with the Mary Tyler Moore Show, the Golden Girls, and, of course, Hot in Cleveland. She was born January 17th, 1922. She started on her first sitcom, Life with Elizabeth, in the 1950s. Now, with that show, she became one of the first female producers in Hollywood, so good for her. Throughout her career, she accumulated 24 Emmy nominations and won 8. So she also became the oldest host in history of Saturday Night Live, made dozens of cameos, including a 2010 Snickers Super Bowl commercial where she gets tackled to the ground. Do you remember when there was that Facebook campaign to get her on as host for Saturday Night Live? And she was on and she hosted and she was like, yeah, I didn't really know anything about Facebook, but, I got on and I was looking through Facebook, and what a horrible waste of time that is. Very true, Betty. Very true. So she says, I know it sounds corny, but I try to see the funny side and the upside, not the downside. I get bored with people who complain about this or that. It's such a waste of time, she told Parade Magazine in 2018. So there you go. That is one of the, or a couple of the reasons that Betty White believes that she's had such a long and bountiful life. Can't beat that now, can you? What else did I want to tell you about? I have a news story that I had also shared that talks about the Facebook quizzes. You know the Facebook quizzes. We've seen that people are still taking them. People, you have to stop taking these quizzes. They are spam. They are scams. The way that the Russians invaded the election, regardless of your Democrat, Republican, what have you, it was proven that there was some interference from the Russians when it came to the election this past time in 2016. So it's been proven that that was the way that they got in. They are you allow them to have access to your entire profile when you do these quizzes. Stop. I know some of them are very catchy. Don't do it. It's a scam. You're giving up a lot of your information. You're giving up a lot of your friends' information as well. But people are still doing them. I see them all the time. But the news is actually putting out a warning now. Stop taking these Facebook quizzes. Just stop taking them. Wanted to say hello to Nancy and to Anne, who I see are watching the Facebook Live. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying. I believe that is all the news that I had for the day. So I'm going to jump right into my topic because I wanted to do something really fun for Friday. And I've been taking a course from self-development guru Brendan Bouchard. If you've not heard of him, he is the high-performance habits guy, and he's really good. I'm waiting on my book. I ordered a planner from him. Very much into the coursework that he has been giving out, and I've been my latest modules are Larry King and the Secret to Great Communication, and these are really fun. Because at the end, he's giving a lot of questions that you can kind of bring up as icebreakers. And he's telling you all of these questions that definitely get big responses, definitely draws people out and gets them to respond. So this was one of his questions. And so far, and again, I've had a couple of comments myself in and out of there. But, 58 comments, that's a lot of people. So I wanted to know, if you could live inside a TV show for a week, what show would it be? I have to tell you, the first show that came to my mind was Sex and the City. I just love everything about that show. I love the clothes they got to wear. I love the fact that they were in the city and there's so much going on all the time. So many events. They're always out. They're at a club. They're at a restaurant having brunch. The friendships are so amazing. I loved everything about Sex and the City. I'm going to tell you Larry King's answer just because nobody said it, and probably because it's mostly women that responded, but he said Seinfeld. Okay, I get it. Sitting at the diner and, hanging out with your friends. Kind of like Sex and the City, but the male version plus Elaine, right? So there you go. Katie says Parenthood. I would love to be a Braverman. I loved that show, but I don't know. Yeah, they were really good with their kids and all, But they had a lot of issues. All of them had a lot of issues. But, of course, that's called real life, right? So, Lauren says, Gilmore Girls are Heart of Dixie, the feel-good shows. How could I have forgotten about the Gilmore Girls? I have to say, as much as I love the Gilmore Girls, I probably would rather live in New York City than Stars Hollow. I would like to visit Stars Hollow. I don't think I would be good in a really, really small town. I don't know. I live in kind of a small town now, but it doesn't seem as small as Stars Hollow. Lucy says, Downton Abbey. Denise says, the Brady Bunch or that 70s show. I'm stuck in the 70s. Gail says, Grace and Frankie. We've got a couple for Chicago Fire. Rose says, Hawaii 5-0. Jim says, Friends, duh. I'll be Chandler. Then he comes back in and says, after Veronica's comment, who says, Bewitched, by the way. He said, I'm changing mine to I Dream of Jeannie. Sexy woman giving you wishes, and you can send her to her bottle when she's bad. I'm Larry Hagman, of course. Melissa says, The Ranch or Virgin River. Carmen says, Rookie Blue. I would love to hang out with all the good-looking cops. Denise also says, Gilmore Girls. Sandra says, The Big Bang. Dawn says, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's a super fun one. Gossip Girl says says Lisa. Yeah, they had really fancy clothes and they were rich and super powerful in that one too, even though they were, basically kids. I never watched Gossip Girl just for the fact that I was boycotting because they replaced Gilmore Girls in their time slot. And I know it's not their fault. I know it has nothing to do with them. I know it has nothing to do with the show. Just made me feel better. Maybe I'll go back and watch it on Netflix. I think it's a show I would have really liked. Anne says, I want to go into the future, maybe something like Star Trek or on the Enterprise with Jean-Luc. Am I saying that right? I'm not really sure. Beverly says, Game of Thrones. I'm kidding. Seriously, though, I think I'd go with Gilmore Girls. Tina says the Waltons. Jason says SpongeBob, although I can't breathe underwater. Marnie says 90 Day Fiance. Just kidding. Friends would be awesome. Roxanne says the Partridge Family. We've got one for Happy Days. That's from John. Connie says the Flintstones. I said, really? That's interesting. And she said, I just thought I'd get a chuckle from everyone. Kathy says Andy Griffith. Simpler times. Marcy says Laverne and Shirley. Just hanging out in an apartment with your BFF, going on dates and enjoying life. Does sound so simple and so enjoyable, doesn't it? Jane says loving hip hop New York. And let's see, I think all the rest of them are pretty much repeats. So I will stop there when it comes to the show you would like to live inside. Pretty interesting stuff, though. I do really think it would be super fun to live in New York City. I've always wanted to live in New York City, but not full time. Like, I'd like to get away from it because I like my quiet, and it's not so quiet there. So when, Joe and I are, rich and swimming in the money, which should happen any day now. I mean, come on, just rolling in. I hope you can see me roll my eyes in the Facebook Live. We're going to get an apartment in the city so we can go whenever we want and leave whenever we want. So if you know of any good neighborhoods that are quiet but not far from, all the happening spots, let me know. Moving on to today's blog post. I want you to always know and always remember your why. I put up this little picture, which really has nothing to do with the quote, but look at that little girl. Look at that picture. Maybe Tucker will make a quick guest appearance at the end of the podcast today. She is mulling about a bit under the table, so we'll see what happens. But when it comes to discipline, and that's what we've been talking about all week, the most important thing you can do is to remind yourself of why you want this new discipline. When you absolutely don't want to do what you need to form this new habit, and that'll happen all the time. Remember your reason why. Are you trying to get to the gym? What is your real reason for wanting to work out? Is it to get stronger, lose or keep weight off? Health reasons? To get into a certain pair of jeans, that is? to show up your friend who is taunting you for never going.